Fallout 5, Starfield, and the Fallout TV show Season 2. I am excited.
Mr. Todd Howard, Mr. Jonathan Nolan, they did an interview with IGN. Why am I talking like Snagglepuss to open this video, man? Ladies and gentlemen, Fallout 5, we're going to talk a little bit about it today. Starfield, we're going to talk a little bit about it today. Even the Fallout TV show, we're going to talk a lot about that because this interview really centers around some of the story decisions for the Fallout TV show. What's the future of the Fallout franchise? We're going to get into all of that. Just on a separate note, a little self-plug here. Retro Rewind is storming on. Thank you so much for your support there. We're about to hit 10K. Enough of the self-plugging. Let's get into the Fallout stuff you're here for today. Starting off with Fallout 5. So after the major popularity spike that the TV show brought the Fallout franchise, as if this wasn't already a relevant topic in the first place, but more people are keenly aware of it now, how much they love Fallout.
Tourists and woke idiots, that's who are more aware of the Fallout franchise now, which is great, which is just gonna be great, trust me. That's not gonna create any issues in the future.
And how great it would be for a new entry to be out right now or soon. The question is, when's Fallout 5 happening? Now, we already know, thanks to a separate interview with IGN years ago, that Todd Howard does have this Fallout 5 one-pager. They know, generally speaking, what they want to do with that video game. Okay, great. Well, we have Elder Scrolls 6 first, which naturally has to get out because Elder Scrolls 6 has been long overdue. And that's a game that I...
Oh boy, Elder Scrolls 6, after Starfield. Oh, it's gonna be great. So many people have lost hope for Elder Scrolls 6 because of Starfield. It's actually crazy. It is insane because it's on the same engine that Starfield was made on, and Starfield already looks 20 years old. It's not impressive. The physics are bad. The shooting is bad. And well, again, the same people who made Starfield are making Elder Scrolls 6. I think it's even the same idiot writer who went on a Twitter tirade trying to explain how genius he is and how everyone who doesn't like the Starfield story and thinks the dialogues are complete garbages are wrong. Oh, there's so much hope for Elder Scrolls 6. It's gonna be great, boys.
Worry about just being set up for failure due to how long it's been since Skyrim, which is a all-time classic. Personal concern aside, though, you look at the Fallout franchise, and after 76, even though it's found its legs a bit here, I think that it's time for a new entry, whether that be a remaster or a
76 has not found its legs. It's still a dumpster fire.
Spin-off or a mainline entry. I think it is time for a series this popular after 6 years to get something new in the gaming space, might I add. I know we have the TV show, but you understand what I'm saying. So this interviewer asked a great question. Hey, Todd, you know, show's doing great. Does this change the timeline between Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5? Here's what he had to say.
I'm going to avoid putting dates on anything. I've learned that the hard way. So obviously, you know, our focus as far as new development right now is Elder Scrolls 6, but that doesn't mean that we're not making plans for other things. We're still doing a lot of work, obviously, on Fallout 76. And we see the community, so many people going into that game and kind of rediscovering it and just so happy with where that game is at. And it really does.
Bruh, anyone who is happy with the state that Fallout 76 is at should go to a doctor and claim their free benefits from the government because you're on the wrong side of the special spectrum.
And I mean, this has one of the best communities in all of gaming.
That is true, though. That is true, because the people who have been playing this game for such a long time are actually very friendly and helpful to the new players. But you can't really type to them or anything, so that sucks. So, you know, it is what it is.
Surprisingly, it's like a very, very nice apocalypse.
I have to say, I think it's a great call that Todd isn't going to put a date on anything. I understand why they did the timeline with Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 after Fallout 76 is in.
If they put a date on anything, the same thing would happen with the Fallout 4 graphical update that was supposed to happen a year and a half ago. and they failed at it constantly. They pushed back the update for five times or 4 times or something like that. Dude, Bethesda is ridiculously incompetent, okay? If they put a date on something, it's just gonna be another string of disappointments. Man, it has taken them 6 months to implement an eat button in Starfield, and that's one of the unironic biggest updates. Field of View slider, 3 months. Everyone was complaining before the game even launched that there's probably not going to be an FOV slider because Bethesda doesn't like those things, and they always implement it in every game they make after the game has been out for like, half a year or something. City maps still not even there. So if Bethesda puts a time date on anything, man, they're just setting themselves up for failure.
Announcement, because they knew right then and there, hey, this is going to be something people might give us a lot of blowback for, so let's confirm to them that it's not just the near future but the far future, that we're going to be doing our traditional single player stuff, and we just want to dabble around in this online thing. Naturally, we've come to learn that this was through an era of Bethesda, that they were trying to pump up their value to then sell off, so they went all in on live services. We saw across Redfall, we saw it with Wolfenstein Youngblood, we saw it.
All of that is, by the way, complete disappointments. Redfall is still arguably one of the worst games ever made. It probably has roughly 20 people playing it, by the way, right now.
76, and just how catastrophic that was for the entire company. Still, though, timelines, I don't mind them being avoided, but we all understand here and now that after the Fallout TV show, the demand for something new is higher than ever, whether it be a remaster or a spin-off. Something's got to give, right? It's time. And I think a remaster is the most likely answer. It can happen the quickest. I think it's a good stopgap. I think people want that. They miss the old thing. I know Xbox has back compat, so it's a little weird, but PlayStation doesn't really have that option. It'd be cool to get these games on Switch as well. A couple of quality life enhancements, maybe like sprinting, aim down sights, call it a day. Of course, any other changes, more than welcome. Maybe console mods, but that's a dream. That's a little too big, I think. But there's a couple things that I think they could do there to improve the experience without dramatically remaking it, bringing it forward, and re-releasing it. So I feel like that's the lightest work they can do. The biggest work is a partnership, having someone else make a Fallout game. But seeing here that Todd mentioned, hey, focus is on Elder Scrolls 6. We're not doing other things, which to me suggests that they're looking at other partnerships. Maybe the success of the Fallout TV show opened the eyes of...
Starfield Shattered Space, by the way, should be coming out before Elder Scrolls 6, as I understand it.
Everyone involved.
Which is going to be great, because, again, that is going to be a disaster, okay? Man, it's going to be a disaster.
Oh, wow. This is a pretty big deal.
And yes, I'm safely already saying it's going to be shit.
Huh? Because here's the thing, is that it's not just Bethesda anymore. They're owned by Xbox. They're owned by Big Daddy Microsoft, and they want their check. And if they see how great Fallout is doing, I mean, this could be a mascot for Xbox, truly. Like, I've always said that when you look at the front of the next console box, I think that front and center is going to be Elder Scrolls and Fallout. Yeah, I'm biased. I love these games, but they're undeniably massive. And when you own those games and you're not making the most out of them, of course, Halo's more synonymous with Xbox, but when you're, as Xbox, not making the most out of that, you're failing as a business owner, because this is money you're missing out on. And so I think there's got to be an answer somewhere, especially with all that talent in-house. I've talked about that endlessly.
Most likely it's going to be Blizzard, though. Blizzard is bigger than Bethesda, more loved by Bethesda, and arguably in better standings with the community than Bethesda after all of these disasters.
But what I haven't really said is how I think it might be great if Bethesda just hones in their focus. Todd Howard, I still infinitely believe in his talent, but he's spread thin, right? You look at what happened with Starfield, Fallout TV show, and how Indiana Jones is shaping up. I don't want to get...
Oh, Indiana Jones, I completely forgot about that. It's gonna be a disaster. The game looks 50 years outdated already.
2 ahead of Indiana Jones, putting the cart before the horse. But that game's looking fantastic, in my personal opinion. Look at the Fallout TV show.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. Obviously, in his opinion, it looks great, yeah. Except nothing there looks great. The combat looks dull, everything looks dull. And Indiana Jones is probably going to be saved by his, what's her name? Phoebe Waller-Jones type of impoverished woman who don't need no man because she's weak and dumb. It's gonna be great.
Show came out pretty well. Starfield, I think you can look at them in this sort of trio right now and wonder if that's the one that lacked the most focus, the most fine-tuning from Todd, potentially. Some of the oversight...
Are you kidding me? Starfield actually had the most fine-tuning any Bethesda game has had. And you know why? Because Microsoft told them, no, you're not releasing Starfield as it is. Bethesda spent a year or a year and a half, or maybe even 2 years, I don't remember how much, fixing bugs for Starfield. Can you imagine it? Todd Howard was gonna literally repeat Fallout 76 But then came and Microsoft bought them, looked at it and said, "Are you insane?" And then Todd Howard understood, wait a minute, now I'm an employee and I have no power here, which is good because Todd Howard is literally a moron. Whew, with a big paycheck, but that's how it works.
In the design decisions, just something was off. So while some people interpret that as like Starfield copium or defense, I'm more so saying that it might not be the worst thing in the world for other things to get taxed because, you know, Todd decided to focus in on one thing. And I mean, Elder Scrolls is Bethesda's baby. You got to give that all the attention it deserves, especially after all this time. You can't afford to do a half-assed job. Speaking of Star,
it's gonna be great because you know you're getting a half-assed job. That's just reality.
Starfield, though, Todd mentioned here they're doing a lot of work getting, quote, really good updates that are going to be announced soon, end quote. Starfield gets updates every 6 weeks or so, so I imagine by the end of this month.
Hasn't Starfield missed the 6-week update? And again, Starfield's big updates are the same as, even for, by the way, Diablo 4, a minor patch update. Starfield's ironic big updates are the equivalent of a minor patch update even for Diablo 4. And that game is in damn shambles at this point. Okay? For any other semi even just decent game developer, what Bethesda releases as a big update is a minor patch that they don't even actually talk about or mention that much. It is crazy. The absolute low quality of Starfield.
Month we'll hear something there. It's a video I really wanted to make this week, but with so much Fallout news and the fallout literally from the ending of the TV show, my upload schedule dramatically changed, as you all have seen in real time, and so I had to delay some plans. But next week we'll probably be talking about Starfield. We'll probably be talking about Fallout 76 and doing that kind of 2024 style review because I've been getting a lot of requests for that. But yeah, when it comes to Starfield, it is too quiet now, and it's quite literally staggering how little has been added to Starfield in the terms of new features or mechanics. I understand it'll be a snowball effect. Eventually it'll just keep rolling and it'll be really exciting, but out the gate first.
How Bethesda is not even fixing the main issues of the game, and the main issues of Starfield cannot be fixed. You can't rewrite the whole story. You can't just delete the talent point system. You can't fix Starfield.
For 6 months with Starfield, I expected more. I definitely expected something more than being able to like eat food without opening my menu as one of the major additions to the game. It took way too long for like DLSS to get added. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. And so I'm hoping Todd isn't just overhyping it here and that these really good updates.
When has Todd lied to you, my sweet dear summer child? Todd Howard has never lied before. He is the snake oil salesman of our generation. But has he ever lied? No, of course not. Toddy boy speaks only the truth and nothing but the truth.
Aren't just more quality of life enhancements, aren't just more bug fixes. It's great to have those there. I love that Starfield does have a level of polish here. But
bruh, listen, okay? When I say, by the way, bug fixes, I don't actually mean bug fixes. The reality of Bethesda is very simple with Starfield. They fix a bug, and they introduce 2 new bugs. And I'm not making this up. This is a legitimate reality, okay? And sometimes when they claim to fix a bug, it's not actually even fixed. They have tried to fix the asteroid constantly following you when you're in a spaceship bug 4 times now. And I don't even know if the 4th time's the charm in this situation is it actually fixed. Because, you know, again, they literally claimed 3 times that it's fixed. And then people said, well, no, it's actually not. Here's an asteroid. It's following me again everywhere. What do I do now, Bethesda? And the player base for Starfield has shriveled up and died so much. We don't even know if it's fixed, actually. Because no one's playing the game and no one cares about sharing these details. It's crazy.
But I am of the unpopular opinion. I've always said I would take a little Bethesda jank in a trade-off for more creativity, more new features, more new add-ons, all that great stuff there. But I get it. There's that AAA perfectionism out there. I get it. There's people who don't agree with that. But look, I'm Team Jank. Hate me if you will. We'll talk about Starfield extensively in another video, but we do know updates are on the way. So now let's talk about Fallout's TV show. Again, spoiler warning, if you weren't listening earlier, we're going to ruin some of the TV show. So Season 2 has already been officially confirmed. We knew it was probably on the way with the California tax credit that we covered, as well as the fact that, I mean, the show's doing stupid well right now. It just had to get a green light. I think what they're going to do is probably a weekly release for Fallout Season 2, just because I remember with The Boys, I had read that they released all of Season 1 right in a single shot, and then now they're doing it more like weekly, episodic releases to kind of build up the streaming service. There were a ton of questions here asked.
The reason, by the way, they released the Fallout TV show, the first season, in one giant block is so people can binge watch it and not think too much about what happened. Because currently, well, when the TV show released, everything was split 50-50. Because there's so many tourists when it comes to the TV show, it's insane. People who are just, watch it because it's something new to watch and they don't really care about it. But if you call the show bad, well, they're obviously going to retaliate because it's completely human to retaliate when someone calls something you don't like bad. For example, what's your favorite color? If it's red, you're stupid. Everyone wants to retaliate. What do you mean? Why is liking red stupid? It's completely human. And by the way, I don't mean that. Red's a decent color. Looking at you, people who like blue. Joke. But, you get it. And, man, there were a lot of tourists. I'm not gonna lie. The Fallout TV show was actually really successful at garnering just a rando big audience of new people. But now these tourists are bad. When the Fallout TV show first came out, and I talked about the negatives, man, there were so many people hating. Every video was literally 50-50 likes, 50-50 dislikes when I talked about the TV show. And now, as time passes, all the tourists are gone. You make a video about Fallout TV show being bad or some kind of new thing, that you can talk about. And, well, it's no longer there. It's no longer there. The tourists are gone, baby. And, I mean, that's going to matter a lot. And the thing about these tourists is, a lot of them actually, over time, understand, wait a minute, the more I participate in this conversation about the Fallout TV show, the more bad it starts to look. There have been people who have been commenting, I loved the Fallout TV show when I watched it, and then I watched it again. And then I saw the cracks, and those cracks are giant, because they are. The story makes literally fucking no sense. How the Raiders get in the vault? Who knows? Why does this happen? Who knows? Is he immortal? Who knows? There's just 50 things on the table that are not answered, and if they're answered, it's like, this doesn't make a single lick of sense. What do you mean? But yeah, we're not going to go over that because we have done it already so many times at this point. But yeah, the more time, this is why they drop things in, all of a series in just one giant batch, because so people cannot think about what they're seeing, so they just binge watch it and it has good numbers. That's how it's intended to work, because the more time people have to talk about the Fallout TV series, the more cracks begin to show, even with people who really like the show. Okay, they're gonna ask more questions and more things are not gonna make sense to them. So that's what they try to avoid. But now, if season 2 is going to be episodic, aka one release every single week, well, people are there's going to be a lot of cracks forming way, way faster, and it's going to be hilarious.
We're going to kind of rapid fire some of the answers that were put up that I found very interesting. One specifically toward the end of the interview was when she had asked Jonathan Nolan about, hey, what was the plan for this show? Did you have this sort of grand master plan of what would happen next for the Fallout TV show? How does that go? And it turns out, fortunately, I mean, you could already tell by the way the show ended, there is a larger plan where eventually as they were making it, they were asked about, for example, Ron Perlman. Like, why wasn't Ron Perlman in the show? And I agree. That was one of the little questions as a Fallout fan I had. Like, he wasn't in Fallout 4 in this usual role he was in. Like, he was the TV reporter role. Like, why wasn't he in his normal War Never Changes role? It was a little bit of a confusing change to me, but it was cool that he was in the game. And then, obviously, we see here now in the TV show, he wasn't there. And Jonathan Nolan talks about eventually you have to focus in and you can't do everything in season 1, which to me shows a level of confidence confidence that they were going to do a season 2. Like, they knew this was going to happen before they even went ahead and greenlit it. They were like, yeah,
you could do a lot more in season 1 because a lot of storylines almost don't even need to exist. Like, the last 3 episodes of the TV show are just packed chock full with stupid humor. Like, a Vault 4 doesn't almost need to exist, honestly, at this point. Because Vault 4 is like Lucy's revelation with, wait a minute, the vaults are bad. And that goes nowhere, because at the end of the series, Moldover just explains everything to Lucy, and everything that she says kind of checks out with her, so the Vault 4 episode literally doesn't need to exist. It's just a nonsensical episode where you just get to see a lot of floppy titties, and that's pretty much it. It's kind of dumb. It doesn't need to be there. It makes completely no sense. It's just dumb. They could have... The Vault 4 episode could not happen, and it would all be technically fine. Okay? Technically.
We're going to do this. So let's just tell the story we want to tell in season 1 and leave the rest for later. And obviously you can tell with all the threads remaining, they talk about that. Like, they have a very good idea of what's there for them to build upon. And he mentioned that they've been talking extensively about what they're...
I have no idea what's there to build upon. Honestly, I don't even understand how the episode is, how the series ends, because it makes no sense. So turns out the ghoul, since he heard Lucy's surname, is interested in her because, well, he knows her dad, obviously, before the bombs dropped, right? And he wants to follow her dad to lead him to his family? Which is like question mark, because why is he saying his family and not just his wife? Because it's kind of implied his daughter is dead, though. Because, you know, she was also caught in the blasts with him. So, you know, questions. He could be led to his wife, but he technically divorced her, so what's the big fucking deal? Why does it honestly matter? And why does Lucy's dad actually go to a rando place, aka probably the New Vegas vault? Why? Why? He has his own vault to return to, Vault 33. Like, why is he not there? Why does... It makes no sense if you think about it. Like, what reason would he have to return to Vault... I forgot which vault is in New Vegas, but that place. Why does he need to go there? Why is the ghoul assuming that he is gonna follow, that he's gonna lead him to his family? If he knows that Lucy's dad is from Vault 33, then wouldn't his main objective be actually go to Vault 33 now and see what's happening actually there? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It just does. And this is the whole thing about Fallout. If you don't think about it, it's like, okay, he's going to New Vegas and that's it. But the showrunners of the TV show just... At no point did they stop and even think for a second, is this even sense... does this make any sense at all? And the reality is 9 out of 10 times it just doesn't.
Going to do next, and they're very, very excited about. Personally, I am too, because once again, they have sat down to reaffirm things about the timeline. One thing Todd paused and deliberately mentioned was New Vegas, and saying what happened there did indeed happen, which I think we have hit this level of ridiculousness with appeasing a small subsect of the fan base that's gotten a little bit loud. I get the concern with the lore. I respect it, and I know those people will be a million times louder if Season 2 ends up being a complete bust somehow. But looking at it, you know, we continue to reaffirm what we already knew, and that's that New Vegas is canon. Nothing is getting disrupted as of this moment in time. I word it
again with the lies. Yeah, New Vegas exists as a place, but is it... And it's canon, yes, but... It's retconned, because it's just destroyed. We're probably not going to get an answer really why it's destroyed. It's just this. Well, we're going to get an answer, but the answer is probably going to be stupid. So, yeah.
Frame it like that, which I know sounds a touch condescending, because it's at the point now where we're getting elements of Season 2 kind of spoiled for us before they've even shown or talked about anything. And I don't think that's fair because the show was so good. Like, we should just be sitting here going, all right, y'all cook. We'll see you for season 2. He talks about the fall of Shady Sands and the destruction of it. He mentions it happened just after the events of New Vegas. That's something we had already covered. But something that I found interesting is what he said afterward. He suggests that Shady Sands may not have been nuked, potentially also suggesting that the initial speculation of people thinking, oh, Vault Tech nuked Shady Sands, Hank McClane nuked Shady Sands, was actually incorrect. He doesn't go into it at all, but he does.
What do you mean it's incorrect? You literally kind of, again, like, bro, just, I'm completely fine with them just saying, oh yeah, we got the dates on the chalkboard wrong. It's not a big deal, dude. Come on, like, who gives a shit, honestly? Yeah, you got the dates wrong. Who cares? You can make all of this make sense. The dates don't matter. Yes, just, but they're for some reason they can't admit that they got a single stupid date on the chalkboard wrong. Like, dude, it's not a big deal.
Does affirm her speculation that it may not have been a nuke at all. Obviously,
yeah. So now it's not even a nuke. The giant crater there was not even a nuke. Yay.
We don't know what it would have been. It seems like it would have been a nuke, but you also wonder if that would have had more widespread destruction than just the area Shady Sands was in. But
no, that's exactly how nukes work. The only thing that I am left questioning about the nuke thing is they got literally at the edge of the crater. That whole place should be as radioactive as it can be, technically. So how did they approach it without dying? I don't know. So I don't actually care if it's a nuke or do they reveal that it's like Helios 1 acting up or whatever. I don't care. In any case, it got blown up. You can't deny it. It doesn't matter if it's a nuke or if it's not a nuke. If the idea that the Vault-Tec still has operational nukes and Lucy's dad just magically used it is stupid, but it's just pure stupidity anyway. So I don't care. It's just one more thing that doesn't make sense.
Nonetheless, here, I take a look at something like that and think, this is great because now we have more things to speculate on and think about and piece together when the trailers and the information starts rolling out. But at the same time, gotta keep it real here. This is information we shouldn't know because he's practically being forced to talk about this so people can just chill the hell out. He also mentioned something about the NCR, which we already knew, but he had to say it in order for everyone to understand, like, hey, the NCR, they're bigger than just what's in this show. What he mentioned here is it's a wide range.
That sounds stupid. Well, then again, everything is stupid. So you have this thing, aka infinity energy, the magical thing that can, give huge power to anyone who actually has control over it. And you have, like, a small part of the Brotherhood just fighting over it, and the NCR literally sends no one to fight over it? What do you... It's just so dumb. The Enclave don't even care about it any longer. Bruh, it got stolen from the Enclave. The Enclave should be there and care. And it looks like the Enclave actually have functioning facilities. Because that's what we see at the start. The Enclave actually have functional facilities, trained battle animals, and all of that jazz. Like, and we don't even see them? Like, what is going on? Nothing. That's the answer. Nothing.
Organization across California and other areas. And the quote that stood out to me is, I don't think you've heard the last of the NCR, end quote. My prediction after I watched season 1 was, oh, they're going to spend season 2 just going all in on either rebuilding the NCR or a part of the NCR or uniting the NCR. Something like that is what is going to be the major focus of season 2, because you set up Maximus as this almost potential villain role if the Brotherhood of Steel continues on the path they are going on, right? They're warring over this cold fusion we saw.
But they already got it.
What it did. Brotherhood naturally wants to be the stewards of technology. Okay, got it. NCR is the one who found that, though. They were on this whole mission with Wilzig. Did people really think that Bethesda was just going to stomp out the NCR and that was going to be it? Those seem to be the remnants of Shady Sands, but it seems like to me what he's indicating are places like the Hub might still be popping off. So we'll see what happens in due time here. But again, this is a little unfortunate that we have to
Nah.
reaffirm things like this. But yeah, you're going to see a lot more NCR in season 2 is how I received it. One thing that
Well, probably, I assume, but, still, it doesn't make sense, no.
Jonathan Nolan acknowledged was that the reason Moldaver was alive for so long was never actually officially documented. Like, we could have...
Okay, so I was right. I was asking this question and no one could answer me. Like, Moldover as a character literally makes not a single fucking shred of sense. It's the most idiotic character we have by far in the series. So, listen. I'm gonna explain who Moldover is and how she works. So, first of all, considering we know how the series ends, we know that Lucy's dad actually is acquainted to Moldover. He has seen her face. He knows who she is. He has heard about her. And yet, he lets her in the vault, doesn't suspect a thing, and turns out Moldover is a raider. But surprise, surprise, she's not actually a raider. She's a part of the NCR or something. Why does she go into the Vault 33 with raiders? I don't know. But they're clearly raiders because most of them are complete idiots and are acting like insane clowns. So, how the hell does that happen? How the hell does that even work? What's Moldover's objective? I have absolutely no clue. Well, the reason she actually gets her dad does make sense, honestly, but, everything else doesn't. How does Moldover turns out... because I was questioning it, because Moldover looks so different from the flashbacks to how she is in current daytime in the show. So I was like, wait, is this actually even the same person? So, is Moldover a Cabot, or what's happening there? How does she survive so long? Because she's not a part of Vault Tech. So how the hell is she just magically surviving all this time? It's never explained. And she's dead now, by the way. Well, probably dead. I think season 2 is going to start with the idea that Moldover's actually alive and she wasn't really killed. She was just injured. But who cares? Who literally cares? Then Shady Sands gets blown up, and for some reason, some survivors of Shady Sands are praying to her like some kind of god for no reason, and then we just see that in Vault 4 and never again. Moldover doesn't make sense as a character in even the most minute ways. I think she's going to be a part of the Enclave, by the way, at some point, even though that doesn't make sense, but I'm predicting that for season 2, because the Enclave need to appear. Like, the whole thing starts with what's his name? Ben from Lost. It starts with Ben escaping from an Enclave facility. So, the Enclave need to be here, okay? Anyway, yeah, none of it makes sense.
Assume, maybe she was in Vault 31? Who knows? Was she kind of like Kellogg with the cybernetic enhancements that allowed her to live for such a long time? So what's the reason Moldaver was around? And Jonathan Nolan just kind of acknowledged that it'd be an interesting idea to explore. So again, I think if you get...
The whole plot starts and ends with Moldover, and everything about her doesn't make sense. And the showrunner is... maybe that's actually useful to explain. But any explanation he gives is going to be stupid. That's my prediction.
Get more NCR exposition here in season 2. I think you're going to get more of Moldaver naturally because she was at the core of season 1 and that remnant faction of Shady Sands. But that was the long and short of it. It was a great interview.
Yeah, well, anyway, that was Mr. Matty Plays. What a time to be alive, boys. Oh boy, what a fiesta. Anyway, this was Quizzer Said. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.